I'll now give the floor to the representative of Greece.
Mr. President, I would like to thank Special Envoy Hans Grunberg and Director of OCHA Rajashikam for their briefings today. I also welcome the participation of the permanent representatives of Yemen, Saudi Arabia, and UAE in the meeting. Greece remains deeply concerned by the continued fragility of the situation in Yemen. Recent developments highlight that persistent risks of escalation, further political fragmentation, and worsening humanitarian conditions. These trends underscore the urgent need for sustained de-escalation and continuous engagement towards a comprehensive political settlement. I would like to raise 5 points. First, let's be clear, there can be no military solution to the conflict in Yemen. We call on all parties to exercise restraint, reinforce dialogue, and enhance diplomatic efforts to diffuse tensions which could provoke further destabilization in Yemen and the wider region. We reaffirm our full respect for the sovereignty, unity, and territorial integrity of Yemen and support the Yemeni government in its efforts to ensure peace, stability, and the well-being of its people. We call upon all parties to engage constructively and in good faith in an inclusive Yemeni-led and Yemeni-owned political process under the auspices of the United Nations with the full and meaningful participation of all. In this context, we welcome the upcoming conference in Riyadh announced by Saudi Arabia as a step towards fostering dialogue and regional cooperation aiming at a sustainable solution to the challenges facing Yemen. We further reaffirm our steadfast support for the efforts of the UN Special Envoy for Yemen, Hans Grunberg, in facilitating an inclusive dialogue aimed at achieving a durable and sustainable peace. Second, we condemn in the strongest possible terms the illegal referral by the Houthis of UN, NGO, humanitarian staff, and diplomatic personnel to special criminal courts, an action that flagrantly violates international humanitarian law and fundamental principles of diplomatic protection. Any detention, harassment, or obstruction of United Nations and humanitarian personnel is unacceptable and must end immediately. We stand firmly behind the ongoing efforts of the UN Special Envoy, the UN Special Senior Advisor, and regional partners to ensure the immediate and unconditional release of those arbitrarily detained. The safety, rights, and dignity of UN personnel, as well as the security of UN offices and assets, must be fully respected, safeguarded, and protected at all times to allow the UN to carry out its vital humanitarian work. Third, the humanitarian situation remains alarming. Millions of Yemenis continue to rely on humanitarian assistance for their survival, while access constraints and insecurity increasingly hamper relief operations. We stress the obligation of all parties to respect international humanitarian law, including the protection of civilians and civilian infrastructure, and to ensure safe, rapid, and unimpeded humanitarian access throughout the country. Fourth, Greece warmly commends Oman for its constructive and effective mediation, which enabled the safe release, transfer, and repatriation of the remaining crew members of the commercial vessel Eternity Sea, who had been held hostage by the Houthis for 6 months. This successful effort underscores the critical role of dialogue and cooperation in resolving maritime security crisis. Fifth, we reiterate the importance of maritime security and freedom of navigation as absolutely necessary prerequisites for conducting global trade and guaranteeing unimpeded passage via sea routes. The Red Sea constitutes a vital waterway for the region and the world, and the Houthis continue to pose a serious and destabilizing threat in this regard. Greece calls on all relevant stakeholders to work collectively to establish credible security guarantees and measures in strict adherence to international law to ensure the safety of seafarers, vessels, and maritime commerce. Greece will continue to support regional and international initiatives and provide her leadership to EU naval Operation Aspides, in line with Council resolutions and in full respect of international law. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Greece